Lindsay, you put this episode together, and if I read the title correctly, it says, I don't know.
Episode 1. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a 1 question mark, which is fair because I don't think that our episode numbers are correct. But yeah, so you title it I don't know. Is there some real deep meaning here behind the title of this week's episode?
I didn't actually know what we were going to talk about, so I started with I don't know. Then once I figured it out, I filled in all of the stuff, but I never went back and changed the title. So deep meaning is I was too excited about my Chick-fil-A and forgot to change the title.
All right. Fair enough. I guess we will go through our intro and then hop into this big batch of I don't know. Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV, now also in Houston. Bam! Ooh, that's news, right? Yeah, intro. We're in Round Rock and Houston. I am Clint.
And I am full of Chick-fil-A.
All right, the spicy one.
Spicy chicken sandwich.
All right. And PJ is not here for this recording because she is doing businessy stuff all over. She's
on an airplane.
Yeah.
Coming back from doing businessy stuff.
So we do know when she'll be back again?
Yes.
Okay.
Today.
All right. Well.
Yeah. And do you have more intros? Sorry.
Nah, just if you're interested in any past episodes, check out rvsmalltalk.com, and we're on social media. Look us up there or on YouTube. RV Small Talk Podcast. That's where we are. Are you ready?
I am.
Tell me things that you don't know.
Boom, boom. Well, PJ's on her way back from businessy things. And then next week, a handful of us are headed off to Vegas to do more businessy things.
Vegas. Does business actually get done? What's the nature of this trip?
It does.
Your phone is ringing.
Who didn't turn off their phone?
I didn't turn off my phone, but it isn't the one that's ringing.
Okay, it's done now.
Okay.
Businessy stuff gets done in Vegas. It's RVDA, which is the RV Dealers Association. But I really like it because they have like classes. And so you go to classes.
Wait.
Like all day you go to different classes. Don't interrupt me.
See, I have a problem with this whole class-based tiered society thing. I mean, didn't India start outlawing this? I mean, why are we playing this game?
So, I should learn a lot. Excited about that. Just moving past it, kind of like the foot.
All over the foot.
Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to... I mean, next week is going to be crazy. I'm not sure what we're doing for the live or the podcast.
From our dealership, it's going to be PJ, you, Sue Ann, Cody, and Steve, right?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And that represents a big swath of the leadership here.
So who are you we going to have somebody special? Ooh, I know. Okay, everybody listening, go onto Facebook on the RV Small Talk podcast community page and post your ideas for Clint for guests that he can have on. You can pull somebody from Princess Craft. Do you want a tech? Do you want a salesperson? Do you want a parts person to talk about parts?
Like a part of a person. I don't want to say a foot.
Clint and I were like kind of watching this documentary about a foot, and we don't get to finish it now because we're doing this podcast.
We had to work.
And I'm not upset about it, but like it will keep me up tonight. Anyway, RVDA will happen. The podcast will be interesting. So if you have any ideas for poor Clint that we are leaving here all alone, go to RV Small Talk Community on Facebook and give him some suggestions.
Sure. Well, what else? We're through a bunch of our busyness for the end of the year. We've got rallies out of the way. We've got shows. Now
you did an air show?
Yes, I was at an air show this past week in Houston, which was super cool. One of the largest air shows in the nation.
Clint nerded out.
Super nerded out. If I could just, I wanted my kids there because I wanted them to go to an air show, but I would have nerded even more without the kids there. Because they had fun. I think they did, but they really wanted just to eat all the snacks that they have there.
Yeah. Did they have funnel cakes?
Yeah, they did. Big planes, lots of planes, helicopters. My kids got to get inside a helicopter, not ride, but they got to go inside. We showed off trailers in the Go RVing booth. Now, Go RVing, you may or may not know who they are, but they're the marketing wing of the RV industry.
Are you doing airplane references on purpose?
No, but it's happening very organically. So what they do is they take the interests, obviously, of the manufacturers and dealerships that are part of, I guess it's RVDA. Is it RVDA?
I don't know if they're.
I think it's RVIA. I don't know. They're the marketing wing of the industry. We'll just leave it at that, and we can research that more later. And I've seen their commercials on the Super Bowl. I've seen their commercials on major events.
Yeah,
but they go to big events.
It's like the got milk of RVs.
Right, and they promote people getting introduced to I caution to say the lifestyle, but what you can be involved in. Yeah, RVing. Yeah. Because calling something the lifestyle can mean a lot of things to a lot of people these days. So, all right. So that was a neat event, and we would like to. I don't know if it's going to happen before the end of the year. No, well, I want to do that. Yeah, our air shows all the time. I know that we still have designs to do an off-grid camp out. I'm just not sure that we can pull it off before the end of the year.
I was thinking about that too. Mm-hmm. I think the beginning of the year would work. And I think even if it's in January or February, depending on the weather, it might not even be that bad. And
we stand a chance of having, those wonderful campfire moments. Whereas a lot of the time in Texas, number one, burn ban, but number two, it's so hot. Why?
I already bring, you guys know me, I already bring every blanket in the entire house. So I don't know. I think that could be in the works for the beginning of this year. Yeah, I agree. Maybe we could do December, but that gets tricky with people traveling. So did you not push record?
No, I thought maybe I didn't, but I did.
Okay. Everybody, we're okay. So this podcast is a little scattered, but I found some interesting things in the RV news world. Okay. And I thought maybe it would be time for a little bit of a catch up with the
Those
RV
who are
news
listening
section.
Right now, you're listening with me. I actually have not read over what you haven't. Put together. Yeah.
But some of this stuff might be stuff that you guys have all heard of, but it's all pretty recent and I thought pretty interesting. The first one was kind of huge for me. So you know how California did the generator ban?
Right.
Okay, well, have you heard that they banned gas vehicles?
And in very specific areas. And this has been a big thing over the past few years. They wouldn't there's a new certification if you have an off-road vehicle that it has to be tagged differently. And you can't, even if it was previously street legal off-road vehicle, a lot of that category now has to be completely trailered out to very specific and limited locations and trailered out there and trailered back because they no longer apply. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, so it's it's going to take place in 2035, which really isn't that far away, especially how many people we hear say, oh, I'm planning for 10 years, I'm planning for 7 years or whatever.
Crazy? Yeah, we hear that all the time. Yeah. People who are planning to buy in such a long time, or they're planning to, they have their bucket list trip. They may be already doing their RV thing.
But in 10 years when they,
scale, right.
So this is going to affect that if you're planning for that in California, and not only for your tow vehicle. Like if you're planning on buying a tow vehicle for a larger RV, there won't be gas ones, but class vans, class Bs,
right?
Smaller class Bs aren't gonna. I mean, you're doing great. I'm having trouble with words, but like it is bonkers to me that they can just stop selling them.
This is such a strong arm move by the government to force. Now, do I believe that it's well within our reach to develop these technologies and greener technology and stuff like that? I think that it's a process, and we're in the process, but this strong arming its timeline, like the hard stop, and it's up to vehicles that are like 8,000 pounds. But they're already talking about moving it up to 14,000 pounds, which is going to include a whole other classification of motorized homes. So I'm thinking they're probably going to be, I mean, I don't know I haven't read the stuff that they're putting forward, but maybe there's a grandfathering stage for some stuff. They certainly wasn't for the off-road vehicles. Off-road vehicles was a hard stop. Yeah, you can buy them before that, and it's not like you'll be fined or kicked off the road. But yeah, at that in 2035, you cannot sell anymore. You cannot sell anything gas powered. So yeah, that's gonna affect. So I can't sell my son to anybody. Gas powered. Other states, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, Minnesota, Virginia are all kind of expected to follow suit. Well, there is a saying that how California goes, so goes the nation. And I think that they wear that with a badge of honor in California. But isn't California the number 2 state for RV sales? Or is it Florida? I think it's Florida and then California, but I could be wrong. I mean, they're up there though. Oh, they're way up there, way up there. I understand they're talking about vehicles, but it is going to really impact the RV industry in California. So how's that going to affect? No, so we're in the industry. This is going to affect anything. You're in the industry? I'm in the industry too. Nice to meet you. We're a part of something. All right. Something larger than ourselves. Larger than a foot? Ooh. Maybe a couple. So how does this look from our vantage point? Obviously, for the history of Princess Craft, we've dealt in trailers, towables, and truck campers. So, I mean, depending on the development of cyber trucks by Tesla or Rivian trucks or whoever, it may not affect the towables massively by the time the technology of 2035 comes around. But it might, truck campers. I have my question, because we're talking about a very limited number of trucks that are truck campers there are no truck campers designed for anything that's being mass produced as a electric truck right now. Right. And I think that there's the near electric Ford and GM products, but they aren't there yet. And you would think they're probably going to launch with the half tons, not with the heavier duty trucks in electrified trucks. And I'm thinking that because the battery banks are so dadgum heavy and take up so much space that you already don't have the capacity. So that's how it affects our products that we're used to. But then there's a whole other world of anything that's motorized. B vans, Class C vehicles, Super Cs, the buses. Did you say Super C? The Super C. What's a Super C? It's a really good C. Super. Yeah. I think it's just bigger. It's bigger C. So what do you think this is going to mean for travelers? People who are really invested in RVing right now. What do you think their take is going to be on this? Did it pass this California
From what I can see, yes, in 2035.
Okay, so it passed, and basically they're saying, okay, so that sets the deadline for when it's going to be ultimately implemented. And I'd love to read it to see if there's any, stages or steps to go through. But
yeah.
What do you think the take is going to be from the people who do this, the people who RV?
I have no idea. I think some people will be happy. I mean, it's kind of like the generator thing. We had like a whole divide of like people who thought it was ridiculous and people who really liked the environmental side of it.
Right.
I'm worried about the people who are planning for the future because this isn't that far away.
No, we're 13 years.
Yeah.
12 years.
So a lot of people, that is when they start thinking about the dream and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But this is huge.
Yeah. So from a trailer and truck camper, our normal categories, from that standpoint, this doesn't hurt our products that much because so many of our manufacturers are already gearing their components that way. We're finding way more of the converters that automatically detect what kind of battery you have.
Yeah.
They're building these things out to accept larger battery banks of lithium ion. Some of the manufacturers are offering the lithium ion. We have major inverters. We have 12 volt compressor refrigerators, 12 volt air conditioners now. There's a lot of stuff that's already going that way in those segments. So I don't think it affects our products so much, but it really affects the ability today. Mm-hmm. Maybe some big changes coming in the next 15-ish years, but this really affects in a big way the ability to get your RV to any place that you might already have on your list of destinations.
Right. You might not be able to go as far. And yeah, I think that's exciting, is figuring out, okay, if this is going to happen, then mm-hmm. what kind of advancements are going to be made mm-hmm. on electric vehicles as far as like towing capacity and holding a charge, the number of charging stations. Because if those things don't change, mm-hmm. then nobody's leaving California with their RV. I mean, you're just not.
Well, and then also we haven't even talked about the infrastructure it takes to support this many electric vehicles. I mean, so the grid isn't built in such a way at this point in time to offer enough, just basically receptacles for people to charge things.
And that is part of the plan too, that I was reading about. Like, that's obviously a concern, and that's a whole nother section. And
our current way of getting electricity into all these battery packs that vehicles currently have, it is not less pollutant. Right now, our U.S. power grid still relies too much on coal and natural gas and things like that to say that from a green standpoint that is viable. So we're still behind on this making. Obviously, the rollout's in 2035. Or that's my understanding of it.
Doesn't 2035 sound so far away?
It sounds so far away, but sounds 12 to 13
far
years.
Away. That's so crazy.
So the rollout may be out there-ish, but if they were to come down and like, this is happening next week, absolute failure. Like this looks like a hopeful bill to me right now for the people who put it through. They put it through on a hope that technology and infrastructure can get there. It'll be interesting. It'll be a fun 10 years. Okay. So that was pretty much all of this. Okay. Yeah. Because all of your page 1 and page 2 is so short. Okay. Well, but we're going to expand on this. Okay. Another thing that I saw, and again, you might already know about this, couple states, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and more, are tightening up on the rules on dispersed camping, BLM land camping in 2023. Interesting. Basically what happened, as you could probably guess, everybody bought an RV and went camping. Right. Everybody maybe took advantage
of this BLM land.
And here's the deal. You can take advantage and not know that that's what you're doing. And I think that a lot of that was going on. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know that you're doing it wrong.
You are new to this and don't. Right. There were a lot of unattended fires. There was a lot of
Smokey was mad.
Noise and light pollution.
Right.
And people all over the country who live in these areas said, this has got to stop. This is crazy. So camping is slowing down, but some of the states have tightened up their rules. So if you plan on going camping in 2023, I would kind of look up, the guidelines
do your due
for
diligence.
Dispersed camping.
Call a ranger
in some of these states, because what has been the same for years and years and years now needs a little changing because of the amount of people that are out there doing it, and we have to just be careful with what we're screwing up as humans.
So part of what drove people out there was access to social media that didn't display an accurate picture of what it was. I think
that's true.
I think that modern technology and media outlets and the Instagrams, the TikToks, the van life generation,
the TikTokies,
all these outlets gave such a curated view of what it could be like and all, and that drove the masses out there, but they were an unprepared masses. They weren't watching like enough of the what is it really like
watching an episode of Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, they didn't watch enough of that.
Yeah, you got to watch enough of Naked and Afraid before you go out there.
That's completely realistic. And so you got to start at something that realistic, that bare bones.
At an RV.
Yeah. So what do you think the problems that people, so you said the noise pollution and the light pollution, I 100% believe that.
Yeah, it's funny. They actually talked less about trash,
really,
and people leaving things, and really focused on unattended fires, gathering of wood and other things. That's starting to kind of affect the environment.
Absolutely, it does,
because that's what happens.
Right.
And the noise and light pollution, which was coming from, the neighbors of these public land areas that they were saying.
I'm wondering if there's a bit of just keeping an eye on how much destruction of, I say property, but I mean, it's the government property, really.
But it's property.
Yeah. So the destruction that we saw, because there was a big rash early on in 2020, 21, and 2020 and 21, where with the influx of people camping, you also saw so many news reports of just irreplaceable natural
being like defaced and
painted on or
was a thing,
etched into, or the overlanders, the ones who have been doing it for years, are like, people are driving off the trails. Hasn't anyone ever told them not to drive off the trails? And so many people were like, woohoo, I got 4-wheel drive now. Mud.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand the thought of, dispersed camping. I'm out on my own. There are no rules, right? It's kind of like no man's land. It's like how people maybe enter that. I've ultimate freedom of camping however I want, wherever I want.
Which is what the feeling we all want, is this ultimate freedom.
But the reality is everything that you do when you're camping affects, the area around you.
Sure. And maybe you don't care about the life experience of the ants and the roly-polies and the butterflies and all that.
How dare you?
But the fact is, it's an ecosystem, and it's all
the butterfly effect,
tied together.
Haven't you ever seen Biodome with Pauly Shore?
Yeah, I have. Gosh, that was a long time ago. I feel dumber having now remembered it.
God, that movie's so good. Don't you knock that movie.
Everybody, your homework. Look up or stream Biodome.
True, lose the pillow. So anyway, I think it's good news, but just like some things are changing. So make sure you check.
This is going to affect
with your state.
Even some of our friends who are very they do have a very concerted effort to do it right, and because they full time on public land, which means that you have to be very aware of how long you're staying places and how you're using the place. So this is actually going to very immediately affect them, even people who've been on our podcast. They're going to have to be more aware of the time, the place, and how
the time is changing a lot of places. And then did I not write it down? I don't think I did. I think it is Utah and or Arizona that is literally just closing a big section.
That's amazing.
Of dispersed camping land.
Because those are like the places.
Yeah, they're just cutting it off.
They're known for. So I'm wondering also if this is a resource issue. I think it's always been a resource issue, but I think like a manpower resource issue involved in this.
And it's probably, I mean, at least hopefully a temporary thing. Like, we're going to close this for the next year.
Well, maybe it's a little bit like they go section by section just to let the land heal a little bit. And
I don't know a lot about this. So maybe this isn't such a big deal.
Right.
I just fell into like the news trap of like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal because it looks like.
Well, that's the nice thing about your first and second touch with a subject or news story is we can talk about it and wonder, and it's okay. We don't have to be experts.
We are not experts.
But we can wonder aloud.
I am an expert on Biodome with Pauly Shore.
I am not.
Also Naked and Afraid. Definitely an expert.
I also am not an expert on it. I have different areas of expertise.
You do. Probably a little bit more useful.
What else you got here?
Okay, so the third news story. Don't read this.
Don't read that. Got it.
Don't read this. Okay, the third story is not as interesting to anyone but me, but Venture RV, which is a manufacturer that we carry here.
What do we carry of theirs?
Venture does the KZ and they also do the Sonics.
Yes.
And the new Sonic X.
Okay.
Which is a very cool trailer. They received the 2022 RVDA Quality Circle Award. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
Okay.
But it actually is a pretty cool thing. I mean, obviously it's based on quality, and I thought this was cool. Venture RV achieved a 78.8% brand score, which is almost double the industry standard.
Whoa.
At 39.6.
So you haven't gone through grade schools. 78 is like, well,
Right, but
it's like
the industry standard is 36.
Wow, right?
So anyway, congratulations, Venture RV. Not a huge news story, but since it's a brand that I am familiar with, I was just kind of shocked that they got a great score and they're a super quality brand.
I recall now that when I was in Elkhart a few weeks ago with PJ, Suann, and I, actually your dad was there too. As we were going through the Elkhart open house show, we did spend more time in the Sonics and Sonic X, just sitting in them. And we were moving fast all week, but there were a few places in each display where we found ourselves actually spending time sitting and just looking and marveling a little bit.
And the
Sonics were one of those places. And when we've seen as many trailers as we have, you see across the board, a lot of commonalities. But the Sonics were doing some things different. And I'm excited for them, for the 2023s to actually really start hitting the scene, because I'd love to just know, I guess, the market's take.
Yeah. They're very cool. And we just got 2 of those Sonic X's on our lot, and just the first thing I noticed was that it's kind of like a bumper bar that goes around the exterior of the whole thing. And aesthetically, some people might not like that, but I think not only does it look cool as hell, but oh my God, what a great idea. Oh my God. Yes, you have protection around your entire RV, because you're going to hit a tree.
That's
like
right.
you're just going to.
That's right.
Oh, I just thought it was genius. But there's a lot of cool things on that Sonic X. So I just thought that was just a neat little tidbit.
Okay.
And so then I thought, all right, I didn't write enough stuff.
And I've
don't have
kept
enough
my
to
eyes
talk
off of it,
about.
but I'm going to put my mug right here so I cannot. You just surprised
So
me. with whatever's
I was
coming.
like, okay, what can Clint and I do that's just like super silly for the last part of the podcast? So I started thinking about camp songs, like songs with RV in them. And I was like, we can sing songs.
I am unprepared
or
for
listen
this.
to songs, but
What?
just wait.
Okay, I'm going to hear you
So
out.
I literally Googled, songs with RVs in them or RV songs. They're like just something to talk about. And do you know how Google does that thing where when you ask a question,
Autocomplete?
it will, no, not autocomplete. When you like ask a question and then like underneath it asks like similar questions.
Yes.
And then you can just click on it and get like the answer.
Sure.
Okay. So one of them, when I Googled about RV songs, one of the questions said, how do you enjoy an RV? And me being me.
Okay, like which angle? Like how do you enjoy it? Like, oh, I enjoyed a lot, or like what are the steps to enjoy it?
Yeah, it was like, what are the steps? Like,
oh no,
how to enjoy an RV. So I naturally was like, I'm gonna click on that.
Right.
And then I clicked on it.
And what did it say?
And the steps are amazing. So I wanted to share them all with you.
Okay.
So according to Google, who pulls it from a website somewhere, you can look now because we're going to talk about each of these.
Okay, here we go.
Number 1, how to enjoy your RV. Don't get poop on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just love this. Like
Google served this answer up?
Yes. I don't know where this came from, but it is the top 8 ways to enjoy
I want to say
RV.
this is kind of like Family Feud, where it's like the number 1 answer survey says
don't get poop on yourself. Which I agree is a very good way to enjoy your RV.
Yeah.
Like stay poop free.
Unless
enjoy
you're a
your
dung
RV.
beetle. If you're a dung beetle, complete
you're gonna have
opposite.
a crappy time.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was that common enough to be in some sort of like Google analytics here.
It's got to be one of the biggest fears, though. It may be the biggest fear, right?
Don't get poop. Okay. Number 2, we have to get through this list because although that one is probably my favorite, there's plenty of other bonkers things in here. Now, remember, the question is, how do you enjoy an RV?
Very much, thank you, but that's not the question.
First of all, don't get poop on yourself. Yeah. Second of all, remember your toolkit. Logical.
Okay.
Still,
and I agree with that one.
Kind of a silly answer to how do you enjoy an RV.
Right. Because this isn't like the actual like relaxing or
Or how do you enjoy an RV?
Window,
you don't forget your toolkit.
Yeah.
That way you can repair things while you're enjoying. Okay. Number 3, pack sufficient cookware, which let me tell you, I have been camping a lot of times. And I have never, ever packed sufficient cookware.
No.
But I have enjoyed my RV.
Wait.
I know.
How?
I know. That's what I don't. I'm defying this Google list. I've never gotten poop on myself, though.
You haven't lived.
Pack sufficient cookware. Okay. Number 4, use leveling blocks. I do agree that you're probably going to enjoy an RV more if it's level.
Yeah, and having been perfectly dialed in has never been a thing to me, but also my RVs have never had finicky refrigerators that like you got to have it level.
Yeah, that's right.
Mine have never had that. So I think that this one doesn't bother me as much, particularly with the type of trailer I have with the Flyer Discover.
Yeah.
Level? Who cares?
Level-ish. Yeah. I don't use a
places.
bubble level. I just stand back and I'm like, yeah, Yeah, it looks fine.
And I think that comes down to what kind of equipment you have. I mean, if your refrigerator stops working because you're not level,
then how are you going to enjoy an RV?
Well, you have sufficient cookware. You're fine.
Did you get poop on yourself? Okay, number 5. Clint, take it away.
Get into your campground before dark.
It would have been better if it said get into your camper before dark.
It's spooky out there. Get into a campground before. I mean, okay, but does this? I
feel like a bot wrote this list, and it's cracking me up.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6. How do you enjoy an RV? You download camping apps.
Before, during, and after. Yeah, forget that. That whole trip is blown if you don't have your quota of camping apps. Stare at your phone more.
Download camping apps to enjoy an RV. Use RV toilet essentials. I mean, we're real heavy on the bathroom stuff here.
I feel like I want to create a brand, RV Toilet Essentials, with an A. I think I need to brand this. No one take that or take it. Just
no one take that. Just cut me in.
I'm not going to move very quickly on this. So go ahead.
All right, number 8.
That plan has no fiber.
Stop it. My favorite.
Okay.
Number 8. How do you enjoy an RV?
Okay, I can get behind this one.
I know, but it's just funny. Wake up early. Watch the sunrise.
Yes.
Take a nap.
Oh, see. It's the 3-legged stool. It stands.
I feel like that should have been number 1.
Yeah.
And don't get poop on yourself.
Because that's the real experience there.
That's the only thing on here that's actually fun. The other things just prevent disaster.
Exactly. Put it that way.
I mean, pack sufficient cookware. Google, what are you doing to me? And you know what? There were a lot of other camp questions that I should have clicked on.
Right.
And but this is the only one that I clicked on, and I was hooked. And now I think maybe we should do an entire podcast on bots writing camping lists.
Sure.
That are just ridiculous.
Sure. So here's a thing. You know that guy that we found on social media and YouTube or not, and he basically creates these really well done songs based off of internet arguments and things like that.
Yes.
I feel like we should just feed him these lists, and he should create wonderful, catchy, clickbaitable songs.
Yes.
Out of a list like this.
Yes.
Don't get poop on yourself.
Keep singing.
Remember your toolkit. See, I don't have a style. He has this very modern style.
It's modern, but it's dramatic.
Yeah,
it's
I feel very sing-songy and like...
Is this like, we could write a musical about this Google list, the way that I wrote a musical the other day about switching from Gmail to Microsoft Outlook.
She is not having fun, folks.
I'm not, but instead of throwing a fit...
Write a song.
I've been writing a musical about it.
That's right.
And a lot of the songs do sound like fits. To be fair, I'm still throwing a fit, but I'm singing.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, we've been so busy. I don't even know what else to talk about.
That's why we're sitting down the way we are on this podcast, you and me.
What, you mean here in this recliner?
Right. At the drop of a hat, is because it has been a whirlwind month worth of time. And we just need to sit down and talk about something on the microphones. Well,
this was fun. And we always welcome suggestions. Sometimes we have really cool people to interview. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are like really hot topics to talk about. And sometimes we don't have it honed in. So... if you have an idea...
That's why it's small talk. It's a small talk episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not apologizing. These are my favorite episodes. Yeah. But if you have something you want to hear about, I don't understand how to find the best RV for me. I don't understand how to camp this way. I would like to hear from wildlife experts. Sure. I don't know. Just tell us.
That RV dating game episode, I think worked well for us. If you haven't listened to that one yet, the RV dating game episode was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
A few episodes back.
So if you have anybody you would like to hear from, any subjects you would like us to talk about, technical things. We can do all of that. Just hit us up, RV Small Talk Community on Facebook. What is our email address again? We haven't put it out there in a while.
No, it was questions, wasn't it? Questions at rvsmalltalk.com.
At rvsmalltalk.com. Send them to us.
We are so on top of this.
You know, I think we're doing great.
Cool.
And you know what? Do you have poop on you?
I don't. Therefore, my camping trip must be going well.
I don't have poop on me either, so I think we're enjoying ourselves.
There you are. Everybody, thank you for joining us on this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast. You can find other episodes at rvsmalltalk.com. And if you just look us up on social media or YouTube under RV Small Talk, we will show up. Subscribe, join in, comment, what have you. We do appreciate you sticking with us. And yes, we do appreciate you feeding us ideas on what you would like us to chat about, because that's all this is. It's a chat, and you get to be a part of it. So thank you so much for being part of this thing we do.
We will see you next time. And until then, enjoy your RV. You know, bring sufficient cookware. Don't get poop on yourself.
And do your California travels before 2035.
Yes.